Salut et bienvenue dans cette nouvelle leçon. Cette fois-ci, nous allons parler de comment changer les phrases déclaratives en phrases interrogatives. Tout simplement, comment poser des questions en français. In this lesson, we'll be talking about simply how to ask questions in French. So basically, there are four main ways. There are other ways, but I just want to talk about four main ways of asking questions in French. So for instance, if you're giving a statement, how do you turn that statement into a question? That's what we are talking about today in French. The first way we are going to talk about is by intonation. Intonation is simply the raising of your voice. So, for instance, we have a sentence like Ils sont des États-Unis. That's a statement. Ils sont des États-Unis. That's a statement. And we want to turn that into a question using intonation. All we have to do is raise our voice. Ils sont des États-Unis? Ils sont des États-Unis? We are asking a question. So with a question mark at the end of it, that solves the issue of turning it into a question. So let's have a look at a second sentence. Tu as lavé la voiture. That's a statement. Tu as lavé la voiture. Now we'll turn that into a question with intonation. Tu as lavé la voiture? Tu as lavé la voiture? So because I raised my voice and there's a question mark at the end of the sentence, it's only because it's in writing that you can tell that there's a question mark. But verbally, you will not be able to tell whether there's a question mark or not. The only way you will tell is by the raising of my voice. So this concept is what you call intonation, or par intonation en français. Is by intonation, raising of your voice. Raising of your voice, that's how you do it. Now, the second case is with est-ce que. Now, est-ce que by itself doesn't mean anything, but est-ce que introduces a question. So once you hear est-ce que, you know that that person is asking a question. What's coming after that will be definitely a question. So est-ce que introduces a question. Est-ce que is used to ask a question. And we'll place est-ce que at the beginning of the statement to turn it into a question. You got that right? Let's move on. With the same sentences we had before, now we want to use est-ce que. We say, before we said ils sont des États-Unis, now we want to say est-ce qu'ils sont des États-Unis? Est-ce qu'ils sont des États-Unis? Now, est-ce que, we have to do a little bit of elision there, remember? Elision, when you have two vowel sounds coming together, you remove the vowel sound of the first word and replace it with an apostrophe. That's elision. Now, because que ends in I, that's a vowel. And then it that I'm talking about, il au pluriel, starts with a vowel as well. So we have to remove the I from que and replace it with an apostrophe and then join it with il. That's why I said est-ce qu'ils sont. Instead of est-ce que ils sont, you don't break them apart like that. You join it together. So you have to do that elision thing. So est-ce qu'ils sont des États-Unis? Est-ce qu'ils sont des États-Unis? That's the question. With the second sentence that we had before, tu as lavé la voiture. Now we have est-ce que tu as lavé la voiture? Est-ce que tu as lavé la voiture? So that's a question with est-ce que. Place est-ce que at the beginning of the sentence and it's turned into a question. Now we have our third scenario is with n'est-ce pas. N'est-ce pas. So n'est-ce pas is more of a question tag. Like in English we have aren't you or isn't it or aren't we or isn't he. That sort of thing. That's like a question tag. So n'est-ce pas. In fact, n'est-ce pas is the inverted form of ce n'est pas. Ce n'est pas turned backwards is n'est-ce pas, meaning isn't it. But depending on the context, n'est-ce pas may change. It is not always isn't it. It depends on the context. So let's have a look at a few sentences that we can use with n'est-ce pas to form a question. Now we place n'est-ce pas at the end of the question, at the end of the statement to turn it into a question. Let's have a look at a few examples. Nous sommes arrivés à l'heure, n'est-ce pas? In this case, you see that it's not isn't it because of the context. I said nous sommes arrivés. Nous sommes arrivés à l'heure, n'est-ce pas? So it's not isn't it. This is what it really means. You see that? So as I said before, it depends on the context. Let's have a look at a second sentence with n'est-ce pas? Le garçon joue très bien, n'est-ce pas? Vous avez fini de manger, n'est-ce pas? So as you can see, we have intonation, we have est-ce que, and we have n'est-ce pas. Now, let's have our fourth scenario. It's with inversion. Inversion. So inversion simply means change the position of the subject and the verb. So normally you have your subject and then followed by your verb. But in this case with inversion, you have your verb first and then the subject. So let's have a look at a few examples in how you use inversion. So we look at our first case. First case of inversion, this is what you do. So if we had a sentence like tu as fait ce travail, now we have to change it around, swap the subject with the verb in the place of the verb. So it becomes as-tu déjà fait ce travail? As-tu déjà fait ce travail? So you see the placement of a and tu. So in the statement form is tu as déjà fait ce travail. In the inverted form is as-tu. So you swap them around. So as-tu déjà fait ce travail? That's inversion. The second case of inversion has to do with our third person singular. So that you are reminded, our third person singular is il and elle, and sometimes on. Some people use on, but I don't really use on in my conjugations. I use il and elle. So if you have il and elle, and your verb ends in a vowel, you have to add a T in the middle when you do your inversion. And just so I forgot to say something, you have to put a hyphen in the middle of like the question we had before, or as-tu déjà fait ce travail? So between a and tu, you put a hyphen. A hyphen, you know this little sign, that's a hyphen. So you have to put it in the middle. That's how you do the inversion. It always has a hyphen in the middle to show that there has been that inversion. So in the case where you have il or elle, that's your third person plural, or third person singular rather, and the verb ends in a vowel, you have to add a T. So you still add your hyphen, but just before your subject, you place a T. Now let's have a look at a few examples there. So say we had a sentence like il danse tous les jours. Il danse tous les jours. In the inversion, now danse, as you can see, it ends in E. That's a vowel. And we have il, which is a third person singular. So it becomes danse-t-il tous les jours. Danse-t-il tous les jours? Danse-t-il tous les jours? So il danse becomes danse-t-il. Danse-t-il. So normally when you conjugate il danse, there is no T. But because we're using an inversion and we're talking about the third person singular, we have to, and the verb ends in a vowel, we have to place a T after the hyphen there. So it's danse-t-il tous les jours? The third case of inversion is where we have, when your subject is a noun. So if the subject, the ones we've been talking about before, our subjects were pronouns. Now we want to have a look at a case where our subject is a noun. So if the subject is a noun, you keep it. You keep the subject and then add a pronoun as well. In English, that doesn't work. So for instance, we say, is John a teacher? Is Mary a house cleaner, a housekeeper? Something like that. But in French, we would say, Mary, is she a housekeeper? That's how it works in French. You say Mary first, and then you ask the question. Whereas in English, you can just put Mary straight in the middle and say, is Mary a teacher or is Mary a housekeeper? In French, you say, Mary, is she a housekeeper? So we want to do this with inversion. Le professeur de français enseigne-t-il tous les jours? Le professeur de français enseigne-t-il tous les jours? Now we have another case of il, the third person singular, and then we have a verb that starts with a vowel as well. So that's why I placed the T again. So we have le professeur de français. That's your noun. That's your noun. That's your subject and it is a noun. So you repeat it. You say, le prof de français, le professeur de français enseigne-t-il tous les jours? Let's have a look at another example. Another example would be, les enfants crient souvent. Les enfants crient souvent. Now, if I want to turn this into a question using the inversion, I will have to say les enfants first before I do my inversion. So we say, les enfants crient-ils souvent? Les enfants crient-ils souvent? So that's it. So in this case, because crie, we are talking about the third person plural, it already ends in a T. I don't have to add another T. I don't have to add another T. And it's in a plural. So with the rule I just stated just applies to your third person singular. There's il or elle au singulier. That's it. So let's have a look at a few sentences and see how you can turn them into questions in French. Using est-ce que, turn the statement into a question. Hérobi, est-ce que le garçon est mécanicien? Est-ce que le garçon est mécanicien? The statement, vous portez une robe? Inversion. Now I want you to use it, I need you to turn it into a question using inversion. So it becomes, portez-vous une robe? Statement is, vous portez une robe? Question avec inversion is, portez-vous une robe? And then this one. Pierre a beaucoup voyagé la semaine passée. Pierre a beaucoup voyagé la semaine passée. I want you to turn it into a question using inversion. What would it be? Remember, the subject is a noun in this case. So we say Pierre. We'll say that first. Pierre. Pierre a-t-il beaucoup voyagé la semaine passée? Pierre a-t-il beaucoup voyagé la semaine passée? So you see that? That's the context now. So we say there are 4 main ways to ask questions in French or turn statements into questions in French. So one way is with intonation, raising your voice. The other way is with est-ce que at the beginning of the sentence. That turns it into a question. Another way is with n'est-ce pas at the end of the sentence. And the fourth way is with inversion, where you change the place of the subject and the verb. And there are 3 rules in there. So we say normally you change the subject and the verb. To turn it into inversion, you place a hyphen in the middle of the subject and the verb. So tu as de la chance becomes as-tu de la chance with a hyphen in the middle. And in the second case we discussed was where your verb ends with a vowel. And if we're talking about your third person singular, now you have to add a T. Even though the verb doesn't have a T, you have to add a T. That's the inversion. Something like il mange beaucoup becomes mange-t-il beaucoup. Something like that. And then we have our third case in the inversion category. When you have a subject and that subject is a noun, you have to say that subject and then you replace it with a pronoun. So for instance, is Daniel at home in English? We place Daniel straight in there. In French, we separate it. We say Daniel first and we ask, is he at home? Daniel, is he at home? Daniel, est-il à la maison? Thanks for watching. Have a nice day. Au revoir et à bientôt.